Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Talking Horses, presented by Saratoga Spring Water, and we don't have our bottles.
Uh-oh. Somebody
I'll try to get them at the
the
break.
ball.
Anyhow, she's Maggie Wolfendale. I'm Andy Serling. You probably knew that, and nice to see you. I've barely seen you all week.
I know. I took yesterday off.
You did?
I
Well, that's
did.
okay.
Yeah.
Acacia handled it in the paddock. It wasn't that cold out. It's colder today, so you're getting
course.
punished for that.
Yeah.
So that's how that works out.
It
Anyway,
always does.
we have a lot to talk about. We had a Pick 6 carryover today. Head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member of Naira Bets, use the promo code MATCH200. We'll match with $200 of your initial deposit. We have Pick 6 carryovers, we said, 53,640. Starts in race 4 of our 9-race card. Not an easy sequence. I can't believe one horse was covered in yesterday's Pick 6. It was definitely a difficult sequence to get through. We have middle Pick 4, 2, 3, and 6 on our 9-race card. We also have today's bonus is 0% takeout effectively. It's 18.5% on the exactas. I believe it's capped at $20. Opt in over at Naira Bets. Check out the site for further details. We have, people love this, I know they do, 12 to 1 FS2, 1 to 2 on FS1, and 2 to 430 on FS2. All right, let's get down to business. Race number 1, Maggie, I gave up. I wanted to make a case against Magnolia Midnight. We'll take a look at him beating Tetsu last time out, who finished 3rd in there, and it just seems like he's been in such good form. He's speed, he can rate, he's a good draw on the outside. He might lose, Maggie, but I've given up the fight of trying to beat him.
I hear you. I totally hear you. Yeah, I just thought that with a handful of other horses, especially to his inside, such as Bust and Shout and Mr. JT, who could be not that they're as fast as him, but they're stretching out. So therefore, why else are they in this race but to be forward? I just thought maybe they soften him up ever so slightly. And here you've got Thunder as well. So I went with the horse that is also stretching out that Magnolia Midnight beat in Tetsu, but the way he ran, and it feels like David Jacobson has run like several horses lately, and they all look to be stretching out, and they've responded favorably to it. So given the way that he ran, second off the claim for David, whose barn is really firing right now, I thought he could handle the stretch out and might sit the right trip.
Somebody told me yesterday we put him in the winner's circle because we had been saying he was never winning, and it's like, no, none of us have been saying that.
No.
What we had been saying was he's a little tough to read.
Yeah.
I could never take the horse on top because I prefer the other half of the entry, to be honest with you, if I took 2 of them.
Okay.
I don't really trust the horse winning off at 5 cents the dollar at Penn National. Got the good money there. Now, I haven't had a chance to discuss this one with you, and I do want to discuss Bust and Shout in a second. Let's show Mr. JT, who should take some money. He's got Irad Ortiz going. He's coming off the claim, and he's stretching out. I know that, Irad should have apparently, according to, I don't think he should have come down. I think he should be fined for it.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
I have a very simple opinion. First of all, I wish he had just been a little more patient. Because if he had just been a little more patient, he would have gotten out.
Exactly.
And yeah, he pushed that horse out of his way. He did. He was going nowhere, that horse. I wish he wouldn't do that stuff. I don't disagree. But I mean, he fouled a horse that was going nowhere.
And he never even moved on this guy.
The horse was going to win anyway. Yeah, I wish he had been a little more. Ramon would have been more patient, and he would have gotten through. And that, I just don't think that they're supposed to take horses down that are much the best.
Yeah, no,
Connections
I totally
or the betters
agree with you.
or
Exactly.
It matters,
Yeah. Yeah, I just, like you
And they did
mentioned,
give
I
him
wish
a
there
few
was a little
days.
bit more finesse in getting that win, which he was much the best. Now he's a reclaim by Wayne Potts, who ironically, that's who was fouled, whose horse was fouled in that race. But, I mean, you look at the body of work, and he's, I don't know, is it a positive reclaim?
No. And do you want him at a mile?
Not.
And do you want him moving up in class?
No.
The horse that I'm wondering about is the horse we both have 3rd in Bust and Shout, because he really didn't have the best of trips in his last race.
I thought he ran huge.
I just wonder if he wants a mile. But the truth is, his 1 mile race really wasn't that bad.
No, it wasn't. When you look at it from a speed figure standpoint.
And you just look at the race he ran. He ran fine. He ran 4th that time, well back. I think it was February 2020. But he ran fine in that race.
And look, he might get the right kind of trip, because last time he broke forwardly and he got to the rail, and then he kind of dropped way back.
Totally shuffled out.
Exactly. And then he had to re-rally in between horses. It was a little bit of, not to be too
a little bit of an
hard.
illusion that it was,
and not to be too hard on an apprentice, but it was an apprentice type of ride.
That's a kind way of putting it.
Exactly.
And he's picking up a apprentice who's been winning a lot more races.
Exactly.
Yeah, no,
I'm not against him, as you can plainly see.
I flirted with putting him on top. I ultimately didn't, but I'm not going to be shocked when he runs well in here. Rudy's Barn's been going well. Race number 2. In race number 2, I am not defaulting to Progeny. And I think I have a George Weaver stat. George Weaver, who seems to win everything, including every photo he's been involved in, including one at to your detriment the other day, which I still can't believe he won.
You're not the only person to say that. And even with the win photo, they're like, really?
There have been a couple of crazy photos. There was that one, and was it George that won it also, that Jose Ortiz won on the inside? No, was it John Terranova? It was John Terranova in the turf sprint.
Okay,
when he won that,
yeah,
and it really didn't look like he won. That was a crazy one. His maiden special weight, maiden claimer drop numbers are bad. In sprints, he's 5 for 24 with a 98-cent ROI, and I guess he's running this horse where he belongs, so I don't think it's she belongs, excuse me, a negative drop down. I just saw these stats and thought they were kind of interesting and would rather go the second-time starter for Linda Rice, who broke slow and to me looked like classic Linda Rice that needed the first race, didn't really handle the mud, and would run better second time out. I just wanted an alternative to Progeny.
I hear you. I thought about putting Union Bell on top, but at the end of the day, I just thought there was a little bit more to sink your teeth into. Slightly with Progeny, given that it's a drop down. And then it's like, who else are you going to take in here? Nobody else looks fast enough to even compete. And Union Bell is really the only one that gave you the feeling that she could step forward because it's total a Linda Rice type of move. So, and You're Forever, yes, there's a little bit of pedigree, to be fair. If you go back a generation, the Dam Hafted Geothermal Stakes winner, but it's more of a distance pedigree, and Kenny McPete's not very strong in this type of situation.
I feel like if the 5 or 8 don't win this, I would be out of anything I'm involved in. I know they're the 2 favorites in here, but I agree. I'm not trying to beat them. I just didn't want to take Progeny on top. I had nothing else to say about anybody else in here, Maggie.
No, I mean, the only one that could be slightly dangerous is Mel's Angel for the fact that she has speed and was, dueled on the front end.
Terrible field last time.
I'm not disagreeing with you, but I just thought, first time on a dry track with the speed she showed in these types of races could be dangerous.
4th service, turf, synthetic, slop, dry track.
Yeah.
This is it. Last stop.
Yeah.
Last stop on the
agree,
train.
I agree.
Race number 3. I see you and I agree in here, and I feel like either we're fools or we're just smart. I'm not sure. I don't think it's a coin flip on the fool part. As far as Little Demon, we'll show his last race. Part of the problem for me with the others was I don't love anybody else in here, Maggie. And I just thought Ness, when he shipped here, has had success in the last year or two. I don't know. Why shouldn't this horse just wire the field?
That's exactly how I saw it, because I felt like horses like Good Skate and Costa Terra were just a little bit untrustworthy.
Right.
To be fair. And he's just loose in here. And then you look at Signator, and I almost think that maybe the argument could be made that he's a little better with less ground, so therefore he gets more pace to run into because he feels like that horse that needs that pace.
We have lots of replays to talk about them, and I agree with you on all this stuff. I mean, we'll show Good Skate and Costa Terra last time. I'd be happy to.
Please do.
Okay, I will. I will. Greg's the only one who doesn't want them. I'm happy to send them.
So I don't just gloss over
I already sent them to about
discussion.
437 different people. It's like, I don't think anyone in
add me to the
I just
list.
used all users for my replays. It would save a lot of time, actually. I agree. First of all, Good Skate's advantage is being speed. Well, he's not going to be speed with Little Demon in here.
Right.
I know he gave up the rail, and he ran fine. But I agree about Costa Terra. Yeah, obviously Costa Terra is going to win on his better efforts at Saratoga. But I'll say 2 things. He lost 2 races he probably should have won at a time Linda Rice wasn't losing anything. And I knew they were photos, but she wasn't losing anything and he won. And I'm just a little bit worried that his form is kind of topped out.
He's also a little bit of a quirky horse, and he gets headstrong. He wants to get out sometimes. And so, like we said, I think the overriding thing with him is just he's incredibly untrustworthy.
I agree.
To take at a short price with IRAD riding, and I know Linda's barn's been a little bit chilly as of late, but it's Linda Rice.
And she has won 2 or 3 races in the last couple days, so I think she'll be fine. As far as Signator, I agree with what you were saying. I think last time was the time for him. I honestly think, and I mean, listen, Show's got to run him in the race to come up for him. It just is what it is. He's not going to be a major stakes horse. They paid a lot of money. It hasn't really worked out. But at the end of the day, he flattened out 2 races back. He looked like a cinch 2 back in mile and 3/16, and completely flattened out. And then they turned back to a 1-turn race, and he had a more potent kick. I think his form has been improving, and that's the positive for him. But I wonder a little about the distance.
And I'm glad you said that, because I didn't send this in, but Shimigay's great numbers. Won their last start in dirt routes. He's 26 for 78 with a 219 ROI. So he could be that Shimigay horse that is getting good.
His pedigree says he's supposed to handle the distance, so I'm
agree
not,
with
you know, you know what I think changed? I believe that purchase prices are now left in past their 4-year-old year. Remember they used to?
No, it was 5.
It was 5. Was it 5?
Once they turned 5, they got eliminated.
Once they turned 5, after their 4-year-old year.
Yeah.
I don't think they eliminate them anymore.
Oh,
so
really?
That's going to stick around at 1.7 for a while. He's the new Chestertown.
Yeah.
He's the successor to Chestertown. I'm interested in him because I always felt he could be okay. We'll see if he can stretch it out. Maybe I should have picked him second as well. The Long Island, the stake in the 4th. So you're going to try to wire the field? Is that your plan?
I'm going to try to
here?
wire the field. I know she might not be that good. She probably isn't. But I just thought I'd try to wire the field here. And look, I think there's only 4 horses that can win this race, obviously. And I was just going to try with the horse that had the better price. It might be an absolutely idiotic idea. And I believe wholeheartedly that Vergara got just robbed last time. It was just a terrible trip.
Was it a bad ride? Was it bad luck? Was she shot? You know, I didn't show it. I'll show her win from 2 back. I don't know. You know, yeah, she had maybe I should have shown that replay instead. Though I don't think we want to sit through the whole 1 3/8 of it, or 1.5 miles, whatever the heck it was. I don't know. I'm not sure that she didn't just sort of get herself in bad position and never really recover from it. Does it worry at all that she comes back on just 21 days rest, Vergara? Or doesn't really matter at all?
I mean, she does do a lot of shipping around, but she's kind of used to that in the same breath, and it hasn't had an ill effect in the past. So not necessarily, because I feel as though she never got to run a race either. I don't think she necessarily had a full exertion of her efforts.
I know what I would do with her if she was mine.
Put her on the lead.
I'd put her on the lead. She's actually faster than what Loves looks like, who's not
At least
really
she gets
that fast.
Johnny, who...
I would go. I would literally go. I think that's the right move with her. They probably won't do it. I like Atomic Blonde.
Why?
Because I like the fact that she's getting more distance. I think you look at the race in Florida and you look at the Sheepshead Bay, those were better horses than she's facing in here. Horses like Higher Truth, running against Amazing Grace. I think they're better horses. I think she's going to get more distance in here, and I like her chances here. Now, she's going to have to get the right trip and the right setup. I don't love Vergara, to be honest with you. I think she's okay, but I feel like that win at Kentucky Downs was just okay. She's not that much winning type. And the horse that I am not a big fan of is Callie Kim.
Yeah, because we just don't know how good she is.
Right.
My problem, like Atomic Bomb.
Go ahead.
She is facing lesser company today. I totally agree with you on that front, but her form's just gone the wrong way.
Well, that was a bog last time. They shouldn't be listing that. This is, by the way, the Kim horse, who Al Carrion is very impressive in here, being up on nobody. That was a bog last time at Woodbine,
right.
And she and Consumer Spending did not handle the turf at all. So I'm a little bit suspect of that whole last race in general. And I hear what you're saying a little bit about the form, but Sparkle Blue, she finished second to, is pretty good. Who are the killers in here?
That's what I mean.
Vergara is the horse to beat, no question about it.
There's really only 4 horses in this race.
Right, and I don't like our Callie Kim. I think that she's gotten better at the expense of much lesser horses. I know she has a pedigree to go longer. She clearly didn't have any problem going longer, but I feel like this is a whole new group of horses she's facing in here.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I do like the way that she finished off that race, and it feels like the distances are improving her as a racehorse. But right, how can you trust her with the company that she's kept against some real quality fillies?
See what happens in the Long Island. The first of 2 stakes on the card. The other one, the already show her, race number 8. Race number 5. There's a funny trip in this race, is there not? We'll get to that in a moment. But we'll start with Golden Sombrero, the horse on the outside, and we'll show the race 2 back behind Clooney before finishing third to the now stakes winner, Ever So Mischievous. I think he's heading out to Malibu and not the Cigar Mile.
Sad.
This is the horse to beat, and it's George Weaver now, so I don't have anything against it. This is an Alex Bregman horse actually coming here. Think Alex made the trip?
Let's
find out.
Not. Maybe. And doesn't he look to control? I mean, blinkers going
Yep.
on. Sometimes
Go.
blinkers don't have the greatest. Sometimes they break actually slower with blinkers on, but I can't foresee that happening with this guy today. It's just go. And he just, last time on the slot, he just got a little tired against, as you said, eventual graded stakes winners, albeit Northern Invader on the turf.
And 6 furlongs, I like the cutback for him. George's other horse, Worst Ride, that big figure he got last time seemed a little dubious. Now, the second horse came back and was a bad fourth at 1-5, but the winner came back and improved his figure 2 points. So that was a quick race. What is your take on the number 5 login required? I said David liked this horse too, and you guys are gonna have to sell me on this horse.
I just thought that felt like there were several horses in here that wanted the lead, to be on the lead. And look, I'm not against the 8.
I get
second
it.
because he's the favorite, and I thought I'd
yeah.
take a little shot here. And Login Required, I thought, ran really well coming back. And yes, there probably wasn't much behind him, but it was the right kind of race to
Big
set him
turnaround
up
for him.
for it. And usually Michelle Nevin's horses have the appearance of looking like they need a start. So I thought there was every reason to think that he could improve again, and he might get the right trip today, because it felt like there were a lot of horses that wanted to be forward and might provide a little pace for him.
All right. Listen, I never have any objections with Michelle Nevin horses. I took savings rate because it just feels like all these horses that Chad Brown seems to be bringing out, these older horses seem to be live. And I just wanted the first-time start. I know nothing about this horse. This horse was bought for almost $250,000. A weanling, has taken 3 years to get to the racetrack. And they bought this horse 4 years ago.
That's
insane. 4 years ago.
That's strange to me. To buy as a weanling and not make it to the racetrack until now.
Pretty amazing. And who better to have a Cowboy Cal Dam than Clarvett Stables? There is a trip in this race, and nobody seemed to respond to it on Twitter or look it up and watch it. The number 1A, Excellent Men. You probably haven't looked at Thursday, but you know the horse that he interfered with in this race is in on Thursday?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's in, I think it's Horacio. He doesn't look very good. Okay, so this horse breaks on top, and I know you watched this as well.
He hustles him for the lead.
Yeah.
And then he starts to poo his pants a little bit.
This horse, what's amazing about this horse is that he finishes second, because... I mean, you think it's bad now? Oh, it just keeps... The pink horse is running on Thursday.
Oh, okay,
I think it's Horacio, but could be Rudy, but I think it's Horacio. I mean, he's getting out very, very badly.
Now, and I know
by the way, Saul wins. Okay, every replay I watch, there's a Madacat horse. Look at this.
With Brittany Russell.
Yeah.
This...
He finished second, this horse.
But watch! This is a lesson for people.
He's still bothering Horacio.
Watch. And I get it, and I get why he's riding like this. But watch when he drops his head. He goes right back, and not that he goes right back over, but he stops getting out, at least. If this drop would have just actually let him go on.
I believe the Sopranos won the Eclipse Award last year or 2 years ago. Is this Barbosa? Didn't he win an Eclipse Award, or was second in the Eclipse Award?
He was second to Jose Gomez.
Right.
He was third. I don't know.
This is one. Now, I don't think he's good enough to win here, but I got to tell you, that's one of the craziest trips I've ever seen.
And I bet
You're right.
you.
What was he doing? What was he doing with this horse?
Exactly. That you're not going to find riders here doing that. Because the more you grab a horse like that, the more they're going to get out. And it was clear that as soon as he dropped that rein, he ran on straight. Now, my assumption or guess would be that they're putting a extension blinker on this horse. I mean, that would be logical.
They didn't bring the rider up.
Isaac Steele, who has ridden very well.
I don't want you to think that we're totally picking on the rider, because obviously there were some issues with the horse.
Right.
But
so
still.
my assumption is they're putting a run-out blinker on, right? And this horse has speed, but so often we see horses with those run-out blinkers on for the first time, they don't end up breaking. So I thought, I don't know. Yeah, it's amazing that he finished second. But I can't trust a horse that ran like that.
I know. It is quite a replay. That's the first 5. We'll be back with the late pick 4 after a quick break.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.
We're back. Maggie and Andy. Race number 6. Okay, I've given up on Swoop to finish, Maggie. Enlighten me. A little more distance, maybe?
I just thought she was the only one to do any real running behind Coral, who wired the field that
She
day.
suck up on the rail, though, kind of, a little bit?
No.
No, not totally.
She saved ground early and then went 3 to 4 wide around the turn.
She did beat the mighty Expand the Map.
And soundly beat her by 3 lengths.
Going to win the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf. It took her 2 years to win her regular maiden.
Yeah, I know.
It's a tough
I
game.
wanted to put the horse you have on top, but then I found horrible stats from Mike Maker.
You know, they liked this horse off the trainer switch yesterday on the turf and last race, and I thought the horse was live too, and the horse was awful. His numbers on trainer switches are bad, but
Yeah,
I like this horse.
And going sprinter route on the turf, he's 1 for
Yeah.
22.
But I think this horse is a better router, so I don't really care about that so much. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
feel like that's more about stretching horses out. I think this horse wants to go long because you look at the race as a 2-year-old, I think they're better. Had no chance in the Miss Grillo, which was a merry-go-round affair.
Yes.
Nobody gained any ground. And then the Tepin, I want to show the last half mile. I thought this horse, now, to be fair, she does spend a lot of time towards the inside. She's not 2 to 3 wide in the turns. She's 2 to 1 wide on the turn, actually, in turns in this race. But I think when you look at the way the race, and is that the second replay? Oh, okay. That's why. You want to show that, Eddie, or can we go show? Yeah, let's show the second one first. I'm sorry, since we started talking about it. My apologies. I thought she ran well weaving through traffic. This race was dominated on the front end, and I thought it was a very, very solid effort by her. Now, I understand that Smoky Eyes has not gone forward, but Sweet Lou's Got Ace was pretty good this year when she ran her races, and I thought this was a very good effort in a race dominated up front.
I'm not disagreeing with you. Like, I saw all of this, and then I
You're
looked
just worried
up
about the
at
stretch
that
out
stat, and I
stats?
was just like, what? It took me aback because I thought for sure they at least be on par with, you know,
She's on the rail.
what
She's
he
not
is,
2 to 3 wide in the
like
turns.
15%, let's say. And I'd be like, okay, I can. But to have such a negative stat for something that you would think that Mike Maker would be extremely good at, he's not.
Well,
And
we
that-
think of him stretching from a mile to a mile and 3/8. We don't necessarily think of the sprinters stretching out. I don't think
She's
this filly is a
finishing here.
sprinter. I think that she wants to go longer.
I know,
so
and the pedigree could, you know, the pedigree goes either way. A Fastnet Rock, you think a little bit more sprinter. Teofili on the bottom, you think long.
the better question is, how much longer is he going to hold on to the Goichman job? Because that's
Ooh,
a
let's take
very
over-unders on
difficult
that.
job to hold on to for a
procure,
long
yeah.
period of time, and I don't think Mike's had any success for him. He'll probably be okay if it doesn't work out. He's got quite a few other clients, but I had to take her in here. But I think that not in a million years. I think she's very good. Now, she did save ground in this race, and Irad rode perfectly, got her out the last second. But I got to tell you,
really can't see her going a mile and an eighth, Andy.
Okay.
To me, this is purely from my standpoint, being in the paddock. She's good, and I love the way she finished here.
nobody gained any ground at all in this race, man.
I agree with you.
You just
To
think she's
me,
not
she
getting
just-
better with more distance?
Maybe I'm
not.
wrong. Maybe I'm
I don't
wrong.
know.
But that's just my initial thoughts of her. Is that
She is going to take a ton of money in this
Right.
race. So if you try to play against her and you're right, you'll do well. I was very impressed the race she ran. I don't love the horses that she beat, but she really ran that day. They knew she was going to run too. I mean, she
Yeah.
was bet like
Yeah.
they absolutely knew. She's Mo Bubbly. You've got more faith than I do. Is she?
I know, is she more of a dirt horse? But they keep going back to the turf with her, right?
Well, she got rained off. I think.
But she's run the best and fastest race. I mean, too bad.
Well, she was
albeit
with a bias. She
controlling.
had a big bias that
Exactly.
day. What do I think? I think she's just sort of mediocre. That's what I actually think.
The pace came apart last time, so I kind of
It
wanted
did.
to give her that excuse.
But wait a second. The speed was that crazy sister horse, the horse for the horse that ran off in the Boston Spa, and she finished 5th. She beat her.
Oh, yeah.
You love her
That's
in
true.
here?
No, I know.
I mean, the weird horse in here is Ray Handel's horse, right?
Yeah.
I mean, she's a little dressed up by circumstance. Be a ridiculous field 3 back. Then she was able to set a crazy slow pace, and then she came back 20 minutes later, and she stopped going a mile and 3/8. But she's not impossible in here. She's not that bad. I just don't know how good she really is. But there's no killers in this field.
Well, see, that's the thing is, like, I couldn't really distinguish who was really best. I think
Yeah.
this is a really wide open race. Of course, they're going to bet not in a million years.
And the truth
but,
is, even though she was visually impressive, it wasn't that fast a race.
Right. So, and then, I mean, I could even come up with a reason to like Zip-a-Doo. other than the outside post hurts her, but
Other than the name, you've got a reason to like her?
I just feel like a lot of time, and I could be wrong, Grant Motion, when he brings horses here, I feel like they run well or better than you think. And watching her run, it looks like, and obviously this is the same distance as she broke her maiden, but the more ground, the better with her. And then you have the complete wild card of number 9 in time, first time for Christophe Clement. Look, she's 3 for 7 in her life. She didn't run particularly well in Maidan, but her French form is at least okay.
I don't love these French fillies. It just
I
seems
agree with
like
you. They
the
take
last
longer
few
to
years.
acclimate.
It also seems like the
Yeah.
last few years, the 3-year-old fillies in France have not been that good. You think about who was the horse that Peter Brandt bought that came here, won the Sheepshead Bay, and then she did win the E.P. Taylor later in the year.
Yeah.
I want to say it's Rouget, but it's not Rouget.
Rougier.
Rougier.
Rougier, that's exactly
And
who it
you know,
is.
she had won the Prix de l'Opera, I want to say.
Yes.
She was
never
okay.
went
She was
on.
okay.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I mean, at that level, you sort of expect a lot of those Europeans. And I just look up those races and I see those horses and I don't know.
She was very good in her last start.
She
But that
was,
was
but
in March.
It was at Fontainebleau in March on a soft turf course.
Right.
And Christophe's numbers with European shippers are notoriously mediocre. They usually need a starter too. So I'm not
Yeah.
going to be, look, I've got her third, and obviously everybody seems to like her. I wonder if she's working
Really?
well. I think David likes this horse. I feel like every time I turned around, somebody liked In Time. And I'm not saying she can't win, because I think one of the important things is I don't know how good this field is. So
That's
it may
the
not be
thing.
that good a
It's
field.
so murky
Right.
as to where these horses are class-wise that, yeah, I feel like anybody could really win here. And like you said, the French fillies haven't been that good as of late. And two, I just always feel like it takes them longer to acclimate for whatever reason than, you know, an English or an Irish horse coming in here.
Yeah, we'll see what happens in race number 6, an interesting race. Race number 7, if you like scratches, race number 7 is the race for you. There was a lot of interesting stuff going on in here. It's all gone.
Your top pick scratch?
No.
Really?
I have.
like
Oh, you
Joe.
slipped my top pick as your 4th choice after the scratches.
I totally
It's
did.
a ridiculous idea, but I'll get to it in a second.
like,
I mean, obviously 235, who now looks like the absolute controlling speed in this race. Though I have to think that Market Alert, if he can run at all anymore, they've got to be aggressive with him. He
Right.
needs to be forward. I don't know if he can run a step. David claims him. He drops him. But when he was good, he could be forward. And Durkin's Call, who never likes to win. I mean, at this
Third
point,
second.
let's be honest. I mean, 235 is way the horse to beat. in
Way
here.
the horse to beat. I mean, I will gladly, I honestly just put the 7 in there because I want to hear why you like him.
Okay.
I mean, because everybody else kind of looks, they are what they are.
Okay,
Who's
here's my
left
thing
in
with
here?
Alfio. Peter Walder had this horse for a race. But when he had this horse for the race, he had the horse for Anthony Cordarolo and his daughter, Ashley.
Yes.
He didn't have this horse for himself and Flying P.
Oh, they bought
What possibly possessed Flying P and Peter Walder to purchase this horse? And this is a horse that Peter had for a race, and he actually ran well for Peter. In fact, the best race he has showing, he ran for
Yeah.
Peter. And then he completely and totally blew up. Now, for all I know, they gave him this horse. Or they gave it to him for, I'd love to know what they paid for this horse. And
Yeah.
it probably wasn't that much.
Right.
I don't know how much you pay for a horse that's running like that and 25,000 claimers. But I just thought it was odd that Peter's part owner of the horse. Now, listen, maybe it was some sort of deal. I have no idea. But I just thought, I'm looking through this race and looking at a whole lot of horses I am sick and tired of betting on.
Yeah.
And I just thought, what? Because when I looked up that Peter
I
had this horse,
forgot that.
I
It was
assumed this
for
was a Flying
Ashley
P
and-
horse all
and-
along. But no, it was Ashley
you're
and
absolutely
Anthony.
right. I totally forgot
So
about that.
I just thought, you know what? This horse has some back races. It's just sort of a funny horse to end up with them. I'll take a shot here.
Okay.
It's
Cool.
strictly based on that. It's probably completely off base. We'll see what happens with Alfio. A good race for the Artie Show. The Artie Show always comes up a competitive race, and I was glad to see there weren't many claims. And, you know, my favorite horse to beat on, Big Everest, is in here. Now, Big Everest's job got a lot easier when the scratches came in. We'll show him in the cliffhanger when he won 3 races back. His job, this was on another gold rail. He has had more gold rails than any horse ever. And hey, lo and behold, they took down the rails yesterday on the inner turf course. So, oh wait, this is probably on the outer. No, it's on the inner.
Yeah.
That's right, because the last race is a sprint. It's on the outer. So he gets another gold rail, and with the scratch of the 2, the only way that he's going to be,
Yeah, what's Mason do?
I would go with him, but I think you're supposed to go with him. If Big Everest gets away with Murder on the front end, he'll win again. think his form has really declined that much. I just think he's gotten more pressure than he had gotten in his other races. I think he's okay, but he's also been a horse that's been very fortunate.
I also think that, weirdly, getting back to a mile, I think this horse is a little bit better when they let him kind of roll, when they let him roll along. And I thought he was, and rightfully so. Okay, fine.
He has had, I mean, he has really had. I guess, though, I think that.
I think Mason's supposed to apply some pressure.
But let me ask you a question. Pioneering Spirit will show him winning the Bernard Baruch. I mean, I don't know how long he's going to keep holding this form, but the form he has, he might just be better.
Well, that's why I put him on top, and I just thought he gets the right kind of stalking trip, or even he can even close from way out of it. It's kind of amazing what he's been able to accomplish this summer with Linda.
I agree. Absolutely. Kind of amazing.
It's truly amazing.
Unbelievable.
He's won 6 of 11 starts.
Well, it's not just that. He was a loser. I mean, this horse has won 6 of his last 8 starts. Before that, he was 0 for 12. So not only has he been unbelievably consistent, he went from being consistently bad, consistently a loser, to being consistent win. I mean, you rarely see a turnaround like this for a horse. I mean, he's kind of the turnaround horse in the country this year.
Absolutely.
It's amazing what he's turned into. I mean, turf obviously had a lot to do with it, but still, it's not just the turf, because he'd run the turf before. What do you do with Mason? We'll show him winning the poker, who obviously turned out to be not as good as they had hoped, though to be fair.
Oh, he was such the buzz horse, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was against the track in the 4-star Dave. He actually ran, didn't he get the exact perfect prep in the Arctic?
Yes.
Involved in a wicked pace, going 6 furlongs in a race that totally fell apart.
Over a bog.
Right. I mean, doesn't it?
But, I just watching him in the little bit of finishing up that he did, and look, it could have just been fatigue, absolutely. But as soon as he came up off the bridle, his head went straight up in the air. And it could have been fatigue and him struggling with the course. But I'm not going to trust him here with the presence of Big Everest as well. Yeah. And he could just stay glued to him and wear him down. It could be a 1-2, down to the wire. I totally get it. But I thought it was a little bit more interesting than that.
It feels to me like, and it's not just Chad Brown, it's a lot of trainers, horses they got that there were high hopes for that didn't really pan out. When they come back, they're often just not that good. Exactly. At the end of the day, he was okay. Now, maybe that's why he's in here. But this is a pretty good field. I got to give Jerry the Nipper one more chance. Now, I understand that he's not going to be able to be speed here. I don't know if this was Jose's idea, if he didn't break that sharply.
I mean, I shouted at the TV, what are we doing with Jerry the Nipper here?
I don't know why they rated him last time. I didn't understand it myself. He should have been in front.
24.50. I mean, it was very wet. Obviously,
and maybe he just didn't handle the turf that well early, and I don't want to, it's not like Jose doesn't know that he's a forwardly placed horse. Now, obviously, he's not outrunning Big Everest, but I would go after him enough that I could sit behind him in this race, and he's run plenty of fast enough races to win this race.
He's consistently run fast enough to win this race.
He's going to be a price today.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took him because, listen, James Aloysius, I've seen enough. Exact estimate. Okay, he ran his best race last time, and maybe he's a Chad Brown horse that's improving. He'll be a price, but he's not very good. Is he really supposed to beat all these horses? I'm just not a big fan.
Yeah, speaking of tough beats for Mr. Morley.
Oh, was Freedom Trail his?
No, ding-a-ling, James Aloysius.
Oh, Jesus. I know. I bet him last time, too, so I know. Ridiculous beat. The hang job of the century was Ammirati in that race, who's running back on
Oh, my God. It looked like
Friday.
he was rolling, and then it just went, just evaporated.
I watched it again last night because he said on Friday. And Manny must have, if Manny could bet, there's probably no point in the race that he wouldn't have bet his entire week's pay on that horse. He was sitting on this horse with a ton the entire way. He cruised by the lead and just stopped. That was one epic hang job. Watch that race over again and watch Ammirati in there because he was absolutely cruising and stopped. This is a fun race. Looking forward to it.
It really is.
And the last race is a good one too. You guys got anybody you can get beat a photo in here?
Yeah, we do actually.
Oh,
but
cool.
I don't think he'll be that close.
Which one is it? Where am I?
The Big Torpedo.
Oh, okay. The Big Torpedo. Okay.
I think it's well named.
So let's talk about Lots of Trouble and show the workout at a 2-year-old sale. They're running the World of Troubles in the turf because he was a good turf horse, but he was a good turf horse too. I don't know. It just feels like with Irad and Todd, this horse is going to take a lot of money, and
He was asked an awful lot too.
Yeah, they really rode him in this race. Yeah.
He does.
He's not bad.
In my
He's just
eye,
not.
he does move more like a turf horse, I'd say. And the two siblings did win. Two
What?
of the
I thought
siblings
one
won
won.
first
Two
time out.
won?
And
I had just one winning the turf. You had two?
no. Two won first time
I
out,
gotcha, I gotcha.
and only one won on the turf. Yes.
There's a smidgen of turf pedigree from an unraced dam, but you do have World of Trouble, and the dam's a Bernardini. I don't know. I want to go in different directions. I think Beach Cruiser is the obvious place to go.
Yeah, I totally went. I mean, the half sister to Silver Skillet, who's really turned her life around on the turf.
I thought she was second in the stake yesterday. When they put up the fish
I
and she was
know.
fourth, I literally
know.
was about to call and say we posted the wrong numbers, and then I watched.
Yeah.
And even Christophe, I saw him, and I said, I thought you were second. He said, so did I. I mean, she lost second. She was fourth in the,
It was
like the
like-
last second.
Right.
Yep. Amazing.
And then two, kind of watching her race, she tracked nicely behind the speed, and then as a typical turf horse tends to do, once they're kind of asked and come off the bridle, she's kind of went in place, up and down on the spot. And so I took her, given the experience edge in here. You opted to go to Diane's retiring.
Well, I mean,
Dan won her for
Dan
only
was a turf
race.
winner. You've got World of Trouble again. I love Charlie Baker. Going to be
We
a little
need to
better.
wake
You've got
Charlie
the horse
up.
third. I know. I want to
wake
get that
him up.
picture up again of him. I love that picture we have of Charlie. It's a great picture. You know, it's funny. The other Charlie horse, actually, there's 5 turf winners out of 7 to try it. There's only one problem with it. They're all Kitten's Joys.
And one war dancer.
Yeah, right.
And they were the only ones.
But
who
that
won.
horse will be a big price, and there is damn
Yeah.
production, but they're probably Matt Malibu Moon. He's not terrible at turf, but he's not particularly
He's
a
better
turf
on
move
dirt,
up sire. That's it. Thanks, Maggie.
Of course.
I'm going to roll upstairs. Are you on right away, or are you
Nope,
off
I
a
get a
couple
little
races?
break. I'm gonna have a little
Very
lunch.
nice. All right, head over to Naira Bets. If you're not a member, use the promo code MATCH200, and we will match with $200 of your initial deposit. We have a $53,640 carryover in the Pick 6, beginning in race number 4 today. Get involved. A lot of fun in that carryover. Starts with the Long Island. We've got 3 Pick 4s. Race 2, 3, and 6 of our 9 race cards. We have an exacta bonus. It's effectively a no takeout. The exactas, opt in for this, and we will match. We'll give you up to $20 bonus on your exactas. No takeout, 18.5% effectively. And we are on from 12 to 1 on FS2, 1 to 2 on FS1, and 2 to 4:30 on FS2. Tune in to America's Day at the Races. We're done. Thank you very much, Maggie.
Of course.
I will see you later.
Sounds good.
And we'll see Chris Griffin coming up next with a reprise of Scratches and Changes. Have a great day.
For almost 150 years, the Saratoga name has been synonymous with the finest quality, sustainably sourced spring water available anywhere. Saratoga carries on the rich tradition of its forefathers by crafting each stunning blue glass bottle with the same attention to detail and care that has been its hallmark for generations. Visit SaratogaSpringwater.com today or ask for us by name at your local market or restaurant. Saratoga Spring Water. Make every day exquisite.